Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? This absolutely beautiful book right here has a story talking about how the world will fall for a great deception. Yes. And it says that even the very elect, God's very elect, may fall for the deception. Yes. I mean, if you've read this book, you know this story and know what I'm talking about. And most people already are on guard with life experiences of trying not to be deceived by people and every layer of their life, correct? I mean, no one likes being deceived, correct? And there is a trust the plan type thing. And I like to say, is it political or is it biblical? Because if you trust the plan, it's not trust the plans. It's trust this plan or this plan. Because you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve a political master and also a biblical master. Well, I guess that's not true because Satan is in the Bible. So a person could do a political and biblical. Following Satan in politics, I guess I'm learning as I teach, I guess. Maybe I'm not a good teacher and maybe I'm just studying to learn on my own, which absolutely is the case. We get things through steps. What we thought we know today changes tomorrow with growth. Yes? Yes. With understanding, with seeking, you understand more. Now, let's talk about a little bit of a story. Because there is two plans that are happening right now in the world. There is the plan in Revelations that is playing out right in front of our faces. We've had plenty of prophets in the Old Testament and New Testament to prophesize these end days and what the signs would be. And if a person can't see them now, or at least start to see them, or have in their eyes, they may never ever be able to see. Right? And that's the way it's going to be in the Bible. There will be a division, the wheat and the chaff, the wheat and the tares, the wheat and the weeds, the good fruit and the bad fruit. There will be a division. Pick what side one is on. Are we on the political side? Or are we on the biblical side? Again, that's your individual choice. And so there is a political movement that says trust the plan. And there is a biblical, well, actually, Jesus, that says trust the plan. Trust in Jesus. Yes? And in the Bible, like I say, the plan is all laid out. Now, there is also something called the agenda that's been going on for a long time. So let's just talk a little story here and see if we can't see any type of, the signs happening right now in front of us in a great deception. Trust the plan. This is the plan I trust. I've studied a lot of plans. I've fallen for a lot of plans. I've been duped by a lot of plans. Yeah? I've been misguided by a lot of plans. Trust Jesus' plan. So in this agenda right here. Remember a few years ago, there was a guy who was on the railroad tracks and took one of the trains and ran it and crashed it into LA Harbor, Long Beach Harbor. Remember that? And crashed it right through the barrier at the end. I believe one of the, it was when the military hospital ship was there. Remember that? And depending on what type of storyline you were listening to, on what the agenda was of that driver of the train captain, conductor, depend on what you might think what he was trying to do there. Yeah. Now within this agenda over here, they talk about how Walmarts are set up to be collection sites, and that all these have these tracks right next to them, and then all these tracks lead down to the harbor. And one of the things, whenever you do a mass extinction of something, let's say anything that is organic matter, let's say if you have a mouse plague, it's easy to get rid of 100 mice, but what if you had 100 million mice? How would you decompose of the carcasses? It would be actually expensive to dispose of this. Yes? You couldn't just let it sit there and, right? So back in World War II, they also had this problem of what do they do with collateral damage. I'm letting you use it. We're just talking a story. We've seen before this movement that people were trying to warn everybody about this agenda, and that there was these big, huge plastic boxes that are stacked up that would fit multiple. Well, it put a lot of mice inside them, and they easily stack up, and it would be very easy to put on these trains. And then these trains could go right down to the harbor and be loaded up onto boats and ships that then could go out into the ocean and then dispose of these heavy metal objects to the bottom of the ocean, where nobody would ever find them and it would be just a vanishing of people with no proof or ability to find their bodies anywhere. Cheap, feed the fish on the bottom. And we know that things are droneable now. Our planes are drones, our boats and ships are drones. All train traffic is done by a computer at a central location, and then the information is sent out, right? It's done automatically. And we know that trains have they're being driven by drones as we speak right now. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to drone a train on a track. Yes. So if we look off the coasts of our east and especially west coast, we see a lot of ships out there that are out there just sitting there waiting with supposedly full container ships. If they happen to be empty, imagine how many mice they would be able to load up and put inside these things on and out you go. I don't know which plan do you think would be more logical.